Okay, time for Golden Torizo. Yeah, so with the Mentor tournament, for the bracket stage, instead of doing our normal bosses category, we're letting the runners choose between categories for objectives. So we can do bosses with item draft, or we can do other modes without item draft. Two of those modes, that is Chozo statues and mini bosses, include GT or Golden Torizo as one of the boss fights, or one of the objectives. So, given that we don't really get a ton of GT practice in map rando, especially in medium, I figured it was worth making a tutorial so people know how to do this fight on low equipment, because it's really not that bad once you know the strats. It takes a little bit of practice just to be confident with it, but like, you can do this with various suit, 99 health, and 5 supers. So we're gonna go over the strats for how to do this fight safely and the different things that might go wrong with it. Alright, so if you've ever tried to fight GT, you might think, oh, he's kind of chaotic, he's going all over the place, he'll do that. You gotta dodge all the things, and it's just a crazy fight. You gotta dodge around and do a whole bunch of stuff. If you've ever seen a speedrunner do this fight, there's none of that. There's much simpler ways to do the fight, so we're gonna show real quick. I'll just walk through it so you can see it. Oops, I should not have taken that hit, but it's fine. We didn't need that health. You just sit here, then you find your spot, stand underneath, and now you can just sit here, aim up, and continuously shoot until he dies. And this is literally the entire fight. We're gonna talk about how to do that and the different situations that might come up. So first off, how do you make him step back? Well, the answer is simple enough. You just stand on the right spot and he will jump away from you and go to the wall. Wow. Yeah, don't just stand still when you enter this room, by the way. Go all the way forward so that he doesn't fall on top of you like that. And then I look for this little pillar right here. I make sure Samus is like on the left half of that pillar. Samus takes up about a tile, and you just want to be standing on the left of that. And this is not like ultra precise, so like with custom sprites or whatever, just find this spot. I look for Samus's kneecap to be touching the middle of the pillar, and then that's the perfect spot. And then you have to get to here pretty quickly. As you saw, if you just stand there on the left, he will step forward eventually and hit you, or the projectiles hit you or whatever. So where we want to stand is right here. You'll notice he's spitting these item balls that we can farm for resources if we want to. But those aren't hitting us, and he's not stepping forward. He's just jumping in place. He's kind of trying to dodge away from us to get space, but he's at the wall, so he can't create any more space. The cue I look for on this, I don't look down here, I look up here, because this works regardless of what sprite you're using. So you can see where my missiles come out, where I'm aiming from. Samus's arm cannon is perfectly in line with GT's beak. This is like the perfect safe spot. That's how I know. So like even when I'm playing with non-Samus sprites, I can always tell where to stand for this one. You do have to be careful, because if you step too far forward, you'll like bump into his knee, and then he stepped forward because I didn't get back into position quickly enough. So you do have to be careful. You don't want to overshoot that spot, but it's fairly generous where you can stand for that. Yeah, just do this, and then if you have charge beam, it doesn't really matter what beam you have. Again, if you step too far forward, you take a hit. If you have charge beam, obviously a stronger beam will kill him more quickly. But I've done this fight with charge only. It's ridiculous because it's like 250 shots, but like you can do it with charge only. It's really not bad as long as you have various suit to deal with the heat. You can see his health on the top left corner. He's down to 10,800. And yeah, every shot does 300 damage. So like it would take a while with this beam, but like you'll get there eventually. Another thing that might happen is you're doing the fight, you're doing this, and then in a second, any second now, there, he does this attack. And it like, yeah, if you're like I was on the perfect spot. You can still be safe when that attack goes off, but if you're just a little bit too far back, that beam will hit you, and then he gets out of position and you die. So how do you prevent that? It's a really weird thing. Oddly enough, his attacks are based on your missile count. So if I'm at 50 missiles, he has a chance of doing that beam attack that we saw. Come on. And that one too. Come on. Do the thing. You know you want to. There it is. That attack right there. However, if I just burn off all my missiles, now I'm at 29, he's going to be doing this attack every single time. I guess he still does that attack, but that attack still doesn't hit. But like, he's not gonna do the beam attack at all as long as my missile count is below 30. So you'll see a lot of times if like 100% runner maybe, or just anyone in a map rando, if they go into GT, a lot of times they will just spam all their missiles until they're below 30. And now I'm safe, completely safe. So yeah, you start over here on the pillar, left side of the pillar, let him step back, walk forward, stand under his beak, and then you can shoot upward to just continually hit him. You can also do this with plasma. It's better with plasma, unsurprisingly. But one cool little quirk of plasma is it can actually double hit him. So we're gonna go turn plasma on. So now, if he's just standing there, it only hits once. But if I time the shot when he jumps, you can see he flashed twice because it hit him twice. So this is a neat little thing you can do for speeding up the fight a little bit. If you just pay attention to when he jumps, you can shoot once when he lands and then once when he jumps, so you get 3 hits for every 2 shots. And the fight goes even faster that way. Yeah, so those are the beam kills. Those are pretty straightforward because Charge Beam has unlimited ammo. You can just do it forever. But what about if you don't have Charge Beam? What do you do then? Turns out he also takes damage from super missiles. However, he does catch the super missile as well. So if you see, if I just do this, he's gonna catch it and throw it back at me. This is where you do need to be more careful with where you're standing. Aussie mentioned it at one point. I want to say it was like something like, for the Charge Beam kill, you have 11 pixels that you can stand on for the safe spot. With super missiles, it shrinks that down. It might have been 7. I probably have my numbers wrong, but it's something along those lines where you have less space where you're safe. Because you saw he caught the super missile, he threw it back at me, but because I was standing in this specific spot, I was still safe. And then during the catch animation, you can still damage him because he only has one hand he can catch with, essentially. So now I can just spam. So he'll catch one, and then you can get like 4 supers in while he's in the animation of catching and throwing it. And there, he's dead. So it takes about 29 supers to kill him outright, just spamming super missiles. However, you don't actually need that many supers. You can do this on 1 super pack. In fact, I've done that quite a lot in the past. So let's go down here and bring our supers down to 5. And this sounds really bad. Like, this sounds like a slow and annoying fight. It's not as bad as you think it is. Once you're used to it and you get the farming strats down, it's not bad. It's a little time consuming, but there are much slower fights in the game. Okay, now we do 1, 2, 3, 4. So he caught the 5th one because I was slow there. So now we need to farm. Oops, my beam doesn't work, so let me turn off wave and spazer. So now this beam, oh, let me turn off ice too, because lag. There. So now he's gonna spit those things. Oh, whoops, my missiles are over 30. I gotta be careful. So now I just use the missiles to farm. Yeah, see, he did that. Luckily, I was in a safe enough spot where it didn't hit me, but you want to be careful about that. So a lot of times what I'll do, if I have more than 30 missile capacity, I will just use the missiles to farm. Now throw off my 5. I'm being slow. You can get 4 hits out of 5 supers. I'm just like being slow with my inputs here. Okay, we got our 5, turn around, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then another thing to just be a little bit safe is I like to hold L and R, so that when I turn around, like I'm holding left right now, and Samus isn't walking. She will just turn on the spot and aim up. So that's a nice little safety strat to not accidentally step off of your safe spot. All right, we got our 5. Okay, there's that. Now we're at 29, so gotta be careful, burn some missiles. May as well do that while we're farming. Okay, there's our 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, I'm being slow. Yeah, and again, you get so many missile drops from farming this, I tend to just use missiles until I'm at 0. Oop, gotta be careful there, I took a bump. But I didn't hit GT, I actually bumped into the projectile he threw. I would, personally, I don't go for like that extra missile, that extra super that's off to the side. That just feels a little too risky, because if you get off of your spot, it's hard to get back on. There's our 5. Now we farm again. He's probably like one more round will kill him. 1, 2, 3, and there he's dead. Cool. So yeah, you can see it's not the fastest fight, but like it didn't, all things considered, it didn't take me that long, and I was stopping to explain stuff. So like, if you're practiced on that fight, and GT is an objective that you have to take care of at some point, basically if you get Varia and a super pack, you can do this fight, as long as you're confident that you can find the right spots and be safe with it. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to the GT fight. Just make sure your missiles are under 30. Find the safe spot here, and then stand under his beak and aim up. And that's basically it. And then you can shoot up and then jump to farm the projectiles, and it's completely safe. So yeah, hopefully this helps some people. Definitely practice this a little bit if you're in the tournament to make sure you're ready for when it comes up, because it will come up. And yeah, good luck, have fun.